Hi guys, and welcome back to No Man's Land on Self-Sustaining Farm Challenge, Episode 6. So, where we left off last time, I was trying to source a way to get rid of the water um, so that I could fill the slurry and move it to the move it to the production pack, the factory, so I could actually continue making the fertilizer to sell to make some extra money. So I actually did find the mod that I was looking for that I had lost last time, and I will show you that now. There it is, real low profile. It's you actually have to open it to drain stuff. You can drain any liquid through it, but word of warning, you can only drain water and milk. Anything other than that, like pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer, anything like that, and it will actually charge you money to get rid of it. So just keep that in mind, because obviously it can get expensive. But for the moment, we just need to get rid of the water to be able to get the slurry and bring it over to the factory. So that is the plan, and we will see how this works out. Curious. I'm a little concerned that it's going to end up taking a tiny bit, kind of like the water. Like it's only going to take 500 liters, and then I'm going to be stuck with, 5,200 liters of slurry in my tank. So, what do I keep hitting? Oh, the water pump. It's a fantastic thing, but sometimes I kind of wish we had the other type of water system that they have for Global Company. Alright, we'll see how much this takes. Yeah, it didn't take much. 500 liters. Alright, well, I'm gonna get this one started so it'll hopefully start producing, and once it does that, move, confirm. So just like an animal, a typical animal, I can't think, like an animal pen, where you transfer your animals, you can only do it one time, but that basically activates it, and then you have to, confirm it, just like when you drop animals in a pen. But that will get it started so that it's actually producing. I can't remember for the life of me how quickly it will produce. Oh, wow. That was quick. Oh, okay. So what it is it takes like a minimum, like the 500 liters of each is the minimum, and then now it'll hold more. The capacity is much higher now that it's actually activated, so that's good to know. Gives you just enough to put some in to actually get the process started. Just like if you have no animals in a pen, you can usually put water, but it only takes like 100 liters or something, just enough so that they have something in there. So good to know. Yeah, so 5,600 liters, it's not even halfway. Alright, so let's go get some water and we'll fill that up too. And we'll get it going. And side note, I figured out why when you turn them on that they work for a short period of time. Basically, just like an animal pen, at least with seasons on, when you have animals in there, obviously they can die, right? if they don't have food and water. So because the system uses slurry and digestate water for the liquid fertilizer as food, basically what it does is when there's no food in there, the animal or production stops working, but it basically translated as if the animal dies, which is why it basically produces a very small amount. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I don't know. It's interesting, but alright. So we'll get this water over there so that can keep going, and we'll see how much we get out of it. Then what I'll do is I'll probably bring the trailer over and start loading up pallets as they appear. I'm trying to remember, I can't remember if they're full 2,000 liter pallets or not, but if they are, then that'll be good. I think the biggest thing at this point is going to be how much slurry my animals are actually going to produce to be able to put in the pack itself. So, because I only have 10 pigs, now granted I have a little bit of money, I figured out basically between I get 500 an hour for the water mill, I get 150 an hour I believe for this solar shed, and 50 an hour for the other solar shed, so I'm making basically 700 an hour off the solar power, which is decent. I mean, you know, over the course of 24 hours it'll translate to a handful of, you know, a few grand, but you know, we shall see how this all works out. But I know last I checked, I think the liquid fertilizer was going for $2,800 1,000 liters. So if it's 2,000 liters per pallet, that's almost, it's like 5,600 per. Alright, so it's just under 15,000 liters. Shoot, I forgot what I was saying. But, so basically, depending on how many pallets, that'll spawn with the amount of slurry in there. You know. We'll see how much more I can get. I keep hitting that water pump. Slurry they're actually making. 147 liters, yeah, it's not going to be much. Alright, let's go grab our trailer. I'll at least load up the pallet that we have. And I know the other one spawned, but it doesn't complete the pallet. Once it's full, then obviously it starts spawning the next one. I mean, I can take it out at any point. But obviously I want to let them, you know, fill up. I'm just hoping between the pallets and whatnot, and the, you know, the passive income I have going on, that I'll actually be able to make enough money to warrant, you know, because I'm gonna have to basically lease a harvester to start off with, to get things harvested, and potentially even a forage harvester if I'm not going to harvest it normally, if I'm going to make chaff out of it. Come on. There we go. It's the only thing I don't like about these pallets is they don't fit right. So we will use our magic button. And bam. 1847. Okay, so that's left over from when I was using the planter before, the one I don't have anymore. So I do love this trailer though. I'll test this pallet just to see how much, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be anywhere near full. Not yet anyway. Like I said, I did bump up the time speed to 15 times just to accelerate this whole process. Yeah, 1,000. So it'll take a little bit before that one's full. Um, but like I said, the pallet fork thing that I told you in the last episode, it's great, especially for these pallets where they spawn sideways. Um, it's going to make picking them up and moving them so much easier. Alright, so I think next job for the moment is I'm going to go clean the pigs. They don't have a ton of mess, but while I'm waiting for pallets to spawn, the nice thing is it's getting on to evening time, so that means that I will be able to fast forward time, which will not only give me a bunch of income overnight from the passive income, but that will also um, spawn probably as many pallets as I have products for. So, oh, another side note, this particular bucket is a bucket pack, and I absolutely love it, and I figured I would show it to you guys. There's two different, there's one in front loaders and wheel loaders, but it's the Bresaloon laid high dump. It's not there's the singular high dump packet for wheel loaders, or not pack, but a high dump bucket for wheel loaders, and I think it's like 5,000 or 8,000 liters. This one comes with multiples, multiple variations, like the front loader one comes 1900, 2000, 2400, 2700, and you can change the colors. And then the attacher type, you can go from front loader, telehandler, and that pause, the one that has like the rotating boom telehandler wheel loader kind of thing. And then there's a wheel loader version. Sorry, a wheel loader version, which you can attach to telehandlers or wheel loaders, and that goes from 46 all the way up to 6,000. Obviously, the bigger you get, the heavier it's going to be, so keep that in mind. But I love the high dump style, because just the fact that you can, you know, dump like that is really handy, so you don't have to dick around with angling and everything. Or if you're trying to reach something, especially on something like a smaller front loader that doesn't have a really good reach, but you need to get it into a decently high trailer, it really makes it useful. I know there's not much in here, but I want to keep it as clean as possible. The other thing that's funny too is I'm pretty sure, I know there's solar panels on the roof of this particular yeah, that's gonna leave a mess there. I might actually have to take that pallet out for now, because it's gonna keep it full, so any mess is gonna stay. So we're gonna detach you for the moment. But this one's got solar panels on it, and if you actually look in the mod menu, I believe it actually says it's supposed to give you a passive income, but I don't think it does. Now I'm curious. 300 an hour. I don't think it's actually giving me that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So that means between the 500 and the 200, so basically the 700 an hour from the other placeables, I should be getting 1,000 an hour. Which I don't believe I'm getting 1,000 an hour. I could be wrong. Oh, passing it. I was thinking when I have the money, I'm definitely going to buy this, because obviously I'm still leasing it, which is not optimal. But I believe I bought all the pieces for it. Like I did actually buy out the elephant loader and the other assorted attachments that I own for it. So that's at least one positive. So for now, I'm going to stick you off to the side, and I'll just throw it in there as needed. Yeah, so see, I said you needed to unfold tool. It's because I had it on the, basically the deactivated collisions mode. So yeah, it's not going to give me the option to feed it to them till their stuff goes down more, which is actually pretty close. In that case, we're just going to leave it here for now. So at least it's not in the actual trigger. We'll go see how many pallets we got. I'm hoping that by morning we'll have at least 2 or 3. So between the multitude of pallets, it should be at least maybe 7 to 10 grand, hopefully. That would be nice, because there's still things I need to get, and well, I have made a few grand though throughout the day. Oh wow, okay. So it's actually filling them up more than 2,000 liters, which is kind of cool. I thought they'd only be 2,000 liters like the in-game ones. 72%. I'm wondering if that if that means they're going to be 3,000 liters or what. Alright, so I think what I'll do is we'll leave this here for now, because again, we can't do too much at the moment, and I'll see if it'll let me to sleep, and if it does, then should be good. By morning, we'll be able to sell some pallets, finish taking care of the pigs. It's 8:30, so we'll do, yep, 12 hours. Oof, yeah, see, 12,600 property income, but I have almost 5,000 in loan interest and 4,200 in leasing costs, so. So yeah, I'm definitely killing myself here. So I definitely need to get that money going so that I can pay down the loan too. I'm at 22,000. That's not too bad. What are we at? 1,600 liters of slurry. need to be cleaned, and everything else needs to be done too. Oh wow, 4 pallets, awesome. Alright, cool. So, I think what I'm going to do real quick, let me see what they've got for, yeah, the slurry digestate's way down. So I think what I might do, just to kind of follow the realism-ishness, I may or may not, I'm not sure yet. I may turn this off when the slurry and digestate runs out completely, just so it's not running off water. It's like, oh, I'm making liquid fertilizer from water. It's just kind of, like I said before, kind of cheap. So, we'll see how that goes. I think I'll just load these up real quick. Yeah, so they are 3,000 liter pallets, so that's cool. So that's 369. There's at least 9,000. I don't know about the fourth one because it hasn't spawned a fifth one. That may not be full. And then I think I have 1,800 liters was in this one. So that's 369, 10. It's at least 10,000 liters at almost 3,000. So that's almost 30 grand. If I'm doing my math correctly. So, like I said, a decent little chunk of change, a little starting money. Oop. Disappear into the ground. And that's why you can't detach it when the collisions are off, because it'll probably fall through the map. I may have to make a couple trips depending on how many of these are actually full. I'm assuming it's only going to be the 3. No, wrong way. Probably could have set that trailer up a little better. And the other thing I think I will do is top off the water to the pigs, bring over more water for the production pack so I can empty that trailer out, and then I'll grab whatever little bit of slurry is left and put it in the factory as well, just to keep it rolling as much as it can anyway. And I'm going to actually pull this one forward because the further back they get, the harder it's going to be to get them. I guess I could probably get them from the other side, but yeah, I might have to, actually, because despite the fact that this is a... Alright, it's only got 875, so we'll leave that there. I'm not going to worry about pulling it up. I was going to try, but... Alright, so we'll take this to the sell point and see how much we make. All strapped on. Can't wait. I've got the one difference with pigs in seasons and pigs in regular. Now, the biggest downside is I jump maps so often and do stuff like that I never actually complete, like, in playing seasons, I've never actually had cows to the point where they produce milk, because obviously they have to have the offspring first and then they produce the milk. So and I've never had pigs where they actually will produce a bunch of piglets. So every single one of my pigs is pregnant, which is awesome. And that's the one difference that I love about seasons with pigs anyway versus base game, and it's because um, if you watch Mr. Sealy P did a bunch of testing on this, and he showed that if you have 20 pigs, and granted there's 4 different variants, but if you get the one that says it produces the most piglets, if you get that pig, or set of pigs, and you have 20 of them, they'll produce 110 to 120 offspring in 1 year. So if you do that, the money you could make would be quite... Now granted, you've got to get them to a certain point to get the maximum. I think it's... I found a chart online. I think it's like 1 or 2, maybe 2 point something years to where they're the fattest and worth the most. But in doing so, you basically will make the maximum profit per pig, and if you have 120 pigs per year from just 20, that's after, you know, your first 2 years, you're going to have 240 pigs, and you sell the first 120 for whatever the price is. And like I said, that's off 20 base pigs. So you have 50 pigs or 70 pigs, and the amount of food they need is obviously much less than it is in base game. And I've said this before, you know, in base game you need 1,000 liters of each category per pig. So even at 10 pigs, that's 40,000 liters of pig food, or, you know, 10,000 liters of each category. Which is why when you have, you know, 30, 40 pigs, that's 120,000 liters. That's why you can't seem to, that's why you can't seem to ever actually get them to fill up their, what do you call it, their trough or whatever. Why did you do that? That was weird. Alright, so we're going to clean this up, dump it out, and then we are going to give them food, water, and then like I said before, alright, what is wrong? Something's wrong. Why is it glitching? But I'm finally getting to a point where I'm actually pretty happy with how the series is going, or where it's headed anyway. I feel like I'm actually making progress and getting it to where it's at, like, where I wanted it to be heading in the first place. So, that's nice. The rest of this water in there, and then it will take any slurry and bring it over there as well. I was worried that it was going to have such a extensive amount of overage to, you know, such a excess amount of like slurry and stuff that I was going to need an actual silo to get rid of it, or to store it, that actually don't even need the silo right now. So, and with that drain tube, I can drain any excess water, so I can use this for slurry and stuff. And where they're not producing enough to actually even fill that factory, then I should be good for now, which means I can actually use that money for something else, which is nice. Another thing about this trailer, while I absolutely love it, you do kind of need to be more towards the front to fill. So, just a side note if you decide to use it and have never used it before. I just like the price and the capacity. I do wish you could change the color of the actual tank, like you can customize with the rest of it, but it's still a fantastic mod. And like I said, in one of my mod showcases, I think, or not my mod showcases, but my top mods, this thing, the fact that it gets weight, squishes the tires, you know, and it simulates the heaviness to the vehicle and everything. It's nice because not a lot of trailers and stuff do that, so it's a cool feature. Alright, so that is all the slurry we have at the moment. Like I said, we're not doing too bad. 47,000. I feel I'm torn as to whether, I mean, I'm gonna have to start leasing stuff and buying stuff and all that jazz. But and actually, I think the corn is harvestable at this point. I can't. Might need one more stage. I can't remember. Because I know you can silage it the stage before done. Just don't know if it's there yet. I think it is. So the question is, do I silage it? And if I do I lease a silage harvester? Because I think I'm going to silage it, because I think I'll get more between the silage and then the side product of the digeste, which I can use for that factory specifically, versus harvesting it, getting paid once, and then getting nothing else out of it. 211,000. Lease for 10 grand. And so 16 grand just for a harvester and header. And then a trailer that will actually hold a decent amount. That's 70,000 liters, but I'd need a dolly. Where's something different? That's 70,000 liters, and that's cheap. I could almost buy that but for 1,800, just to fill and dump, that's not bad. So we're talking, so we'll say 2 grand for that. What did I say for the other stuff? Was it 18? Oh, 10. So 17, 18. So we'll say 20 grand. We'll get this all silaged and then put in the bunker silo. Or if I really want it to be painful, I can do it myself. I don't want to do it myself. I think that would be brutal. Would be cheaper though. Significantly cheaper. But it would take 10 years, and I don't have that kind of patience. So, and this has tool height control for harvesters, so I can actually do it fast too. Alright, that's what we're gonna do. I'm not even gonna waste the money customizing it because it's not like I get to keep it. Same thing with the trailer. Tell you what, man, Raleigh Christie's got some really good mods. I mean, I know there's a lot of good modders out there, but I do like some of his trailers and stuff. They're definitely useful and affordable, we'll say. Alright. And if you guys don't know, this is the New Holland, I forget what the version is, but the FR450. It's in the mod hub. You can customize the crap out of it. You can black it out, and it's got a bunch of like opening panels and stuff, which is like you can open the panels on the side. I'm not going to go through them all, but you can open it right up and tint the windows and change the rim color and all that stuff, and it attaches to any trailer, so you don't have to worry about running a dolly. I would say it's my favorite forage harvester. I used to use the Krone Big X 580, I think. It was a modded one. I think it was actually Giants, but it was a modded one. It wasn't one of the in-game ones. And it was the only other one that I've come across that will attach to any trailer aside from just dollies, and without having to use adapters or anything. So keep it in mind. It's good stuff. But I think when the time comes, if when I reach a point where I actually have the money, I will buy this if I plan on doing a bunch of silaging, just because it's such a good harvester. 9, 8, 5, there we go. Sometimes. Sometimes I forget which thing the side panel actually goes to, you know. So many buttons that sometimes I forget which one's which. Alright. And this should go fast. And then I think after we dump the silage and I return this, yeah, awesome. Then we'll call it an episode for this episode. But as I said before, I'm definitely my plans for the future as for YouTubing, or at least Farm Sim 19 and content in general. I'm definitely going to be continuing this series as much as I can. This one is probably going to be my focus, at least for Let's Plays. I have a new lands because I really enjoy building my own farms. I mean, granted, there's a lot of good farm layouts and stuff like that, and I may play on, you know, another farm here or there, and I may go back and continue more on my first-person challenge because I like it and it was fun. But basically, this one, and I would say New Lands, is probably going to be that'll be a live stream series. But those are going to be kind of my main two for now. Where I don't have a ton of time, I think what I'll do is I'll break it up between those two and I'll live stream when I can. But obviously, you know, I need more time for live streaming than just a half an hour. And then this will kind of fill in the gaps in between that. And then, like I said, I may or may not go back to the first-person challenge, depending on what you guys think. Like, if you guys enjoy that and you want me to go back to it, let me know in the comments. Other than that, I do think that I'm going to be going back to, or not going back to, but continuing with the mechanic simulator, and perhaps the fishing North Atlantic. but probably more episodic, you know, doing like Let's Plays on it versus live streaming them. Um, the fishing one's not so bad. That one I can, you know, communicate, but the mechanic one, just because I have to kind of focus on all the parts and putting stuff together, it's harder to keep up with chat and whatnot. But as for those, let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any suggestions or anything in particular you want to see. But that's kind of my plan going forward for YouTubing, because I want to add a little content other than just the farming simulator. And obviously once FS22 drops, there'll be a lot more content for the channel. You know, the new game, the new vehicles, there'll be all kinds of stuff coming with that drop. But until that time, you know, I want to kind of fill out the channel a little more. And where this game is 3 years old now, you know, it's kind of at a point where everybody's done everything that can be done just about. So I'd really like to add some different content to it. So like I said, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and you know, we'll go from there. But that's my tentative plan moving forward. This, new lands potentially, and like I said, maybe an episode here or there of like Mechanic Simulator or Fishing North Atlantic. I do have PC Building Simulator too, which I've been playing around with, which is quite fun. I don't know if that interests anybody, but like I said, any advice, interest, or things you want to see or want to be part of, whatever, you know, let me know in the comments. Well, that was quick, which is always nice. She's still going. Apparently this forage harvester can hold a lot in its, wow, it's like just driving around, it's filling up more. It's probably going so fast it wasn't even processing it. But when I stop, it stops filling. Okay. How much more you got in you, buddy? Alright, I think we're done with that. I believe we're done. Alright, so this will give me 70,000, 30,000. I mean, it's going to be 100,000 liters. That's not too shabby. And like I said, we'll turn this into silage and maybe put some in there to make some digestate. Set some aside for the cows. Make some TMR with it. All that good stuff. But as I said, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip side.